What's up everyone, Tony here, and welcome to the revised 2022 edition of my Red Dead Online Simple Guide for the Collector role. I think it's pretty safe to say the Collector role is the role that has changed the most since it was initially released in 2019. It first experienced some major changes with the release of the Moonshiner role, and then received even more major changes with the release of the Naturalist role. As a result, my original Collector role guide video is definitely out of date at this point. So the time is absolutely right to revisit the role and see how the progression has changed. Indeed, I've started a brand new character and worked my way up to rank 20 once again to experience all of those changes firsthand. Today we'll be taking a closer look at the Collector role as it exists in 2022. How exactly does the role work? How can you collect full sets of each collectible? And how much cash and XP are you rewarded for selling them to Madam Nazar? Where exactly do you find each of these collectibles, and how do their locations change each day? Do you need to invest in these special collector items like the shovel or metal detector? And finally, what exactly is the most optimal route through the role to rank up as quickly and easily as possible? By the end of this video, you'll be collecting some of the game's largest cash and XP payouts, and you'll reach that max rank in no time at all. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. To unlock the Collector role, you will first need to find Madam Nazar somewhere on the map. Unfortunately, her location changes every single day, so if you're having trouble finding her, luckily the Red Dead Online community has you covered. The John Robke Collector's Map, which is a tool we'll be coming back to a lot here in this video, will also show you the location of Madam Nazar at any time. I provided a link in the video description, and I highly recommend you spend a bit of time getting to know this wonderful map and how it works. It truly is any collector's best friend. Once you manage to track her down, it'll cost 15 gold bars to purchase the Collector's Bag and get started as a collector. Now, before we go any further, if you're just clicking on this video and haven't had a chance to explore my channel, Collector isn't the worst choice when selecting a first role here in Red Dead Online. However, I'd highly recommend going with Bounty Hunter before Collector, as the Bounty Hunter is the only role that pays out gold with each successfully completed Bounty Hunter mission. Collector pays out huge amounts of cash and XP, but no gold at all. Having that ability to collect gold is super important, as you'll need gold to purchase the other roles in the game. I went over the general path through Red Dead Online in much greater detail in my 2022 beginner guide video, so check that out if you haven't already for a better breakdown of the ideal path through the game, from the very start, to the Bounty Hunter role, to the Collector role, and everything beyond. So with that out of the way, what exactly is the Collector role? Well, if you enjoyed exploring the world and collecting cigarette cards, dinosaur bones, rock carvings, dream catchers, and about 905 different plants in the single-player portion of Red Dead Redemption 2, then this is the role for you. At its core, the Collector role is all about exploration. You'll search high and low through the entire world of Red Dead Online for the many collectibles that lay in wait. When you're ready, you can then sell those collectibles to the mysterious Madam Nazar for cash, XP, and role XP. Seems simple enough. Once you open the Collector's Bag, you'll get a rundown of all the different collectibles you can find spread across the game's map. We have a bunch of different tarot cards, fossils, wildflowers, lost jewelry, arrowheads, family heirlooms, coins, antique alcohol bottles, and bird eggs. It's now up to you to explore the wide world of Red Dead Online and collect each item. It may feel like a lot to take in at first, but just know that you don't have to track down full sets of everything here to find success as a collector. When you're ready, you can then sell the collectibles you found to Madam Nazar, either directly to her little shop on the map, or by mailing complete sets to her from any post office. Selling a full set will always provide the best payout compared to selling them individually. And in addition to all of that sweet cash, you'll net a cool 1500 role XP as well, in addition to all the XP you gained just from picking up each individual collectible. That's some good stuff. If there's one role where gaining cash and XP shouldn't be much of an issue, it's the Collector role. Bounty Hunter, this ain't. So it's now up to us to go out and find all of these collectibles scattered across the map. But before we get into where you can find each collectible, we need to first learn how each of them can be collected. Indeed, not all collectibles are created equal. Certain collectibles can only be collected after certain items have been purchased. And it just so happens that the most valuable collectibles that provide the largest cash payout can only be found with the shovel and metal detector, items that are unlocked and purchased as you rank up through the roll. When just getting started, you can only collect tarot cards, wildflowers, bird eggs, and antique alcohol bottles. These are standard items that you could just walk up to and collect, except for some of the bird eggs which you may need to shoot out of a nest in a tree using the varmint rifle. Most of the time you'll be able to go to the area near the collectible, activate Eagle Eye, and yellow mist can be seen emanating from the collectible itself. Each time you collect one of these collectibles, you'll receive 100 roll XP. The other items can only be collected if you unlock and purchase certain items. You can only collect a full set of arrowheads after buying the shovel, and full sets of family heirlooms, fossils, coins, and lost jewelry require both the shovel and metal detector. For now, we only need to worry about those first 4 collectibles, and when we get to the tips section of the video, we'll explore whether or not it's even worthwhile to spend money on the shovel and metal detector to gain access to those more valuable collectibles. I should also probably mention here that if you haven't already, be sure to turn on your controller's rumble. At rank 3, you'll unlock the divination skill. When you're close to a hidden collectible, the rumble will get more and more intense, and when you're right beside the collectible, your controller will feel like it's going to explode in your hands. However, for collectibles that are buried underground, obviously that rumble won't do you much good unless you have a shovel, and in other cases, you won't feel the rumble at all unless you're holding the metal detector. Nonetheless, the rumble is super helpful when it comes to finding the precise location of every collectible. Now, to actually find these collectibles, well, you can randomly loot them off corpses, but really you have 2 main consistent options. First off, you could purchase a map from Madam Nazar. I actually think it's a really good idea when just getting started to buy a few maps, since it will help you get a good overall feel for the role and give you an idea of what types of landmarks you should be looking out for if you want to come across a hidden collectible. By activating one of these maps, the locations for 3 collectibles will appear highlighted on your map. From personal experience, just buying maps and finding the collectibles at your own pace is a fine way to rank up through the collector role. The other, far more effective way to collect full sets of collectibles is to use the John Ropke Red Dead Online Collectors map. Unlike the in-game maps, the John Ropke map won't cost you any money, and it shows you the exact location of every collectible you're looking for, not just 3 at a time. It is so great. So yeah, check the video description for the link and get to know your way around this map. We'll return to the collector's map again during the tips section of this video when we explore how the locations of collectibles change each day and when outlining the optimal collector route. And so, now that you know how to collect a full set of collectibles, let's go over the payouts for each complete set of collectibles. This is all the important information: how many collectibles make up a full set, the full payout when the complete set is sold, and just for fun, the average payout per collectible for each full set. So you might be looking at this and thinking, obviously I should just collect and sell full sets of coins and jewelry over and over, right? Well, not so fast. We'll get into the best sets of collectibles to go after if you want to reach max rank quick and easily in just a couple of minutes, using this info as a starting point. So at this point, you're ready to jump into the collector role, start collecting, ranking up, and making that big money from selling full sets. But before we dive into the tips for the collector role specifically, I would personally recommend unlocking the other 2 OG roles, the Bounty Hunter and Trader, as quickly as possible. Now, there are plenty of collectibles to keep you busy if you choose the collector role, but I do think there's an inherent burnout factor that could come into play if you just collect, and collect. I found that breaking up the collecting with hunting bounties adds a lot to the overall Red Dead Online experience. And there have been plenty of occasions, even as I play through the role all over again here in 2022, where I've been attacked by a wild cougar while out looking for collectibles. Cougars are worth a ton of material value, so donating a full cougar carcass to crypts does a lot for your trader business. In my opinion, having as many roles as possible active at once provides the optimal gameplay loop, and is Red Dead Online at its very best. If you need help with the trader or bounty hunter role, I already have those guide videos up here on the channel with an updated 2022 version of the trader guide coming very soon. Definitely check them out if you haven't already, and are interested in making some gold. With that out of the way, let's turn our focus specifically to the collector role and go over some helpful tips that will get you to max rank as quickly and easily as possible. This is an important tip for every role, and the collector is no exception. At first, you'll only have one daily role challenge to complete, with a second unlocked at rank 5 and a third at rank 10. But when getting started, you're going to need all the role XP you could get, and doing the daily challenges is usually the quickest and easiest way to gain a bunch of extra XP without much additional hassle. The collector challenges usually ask you to collect a certain type of collectible, or use an item X number of times, which is simple enough. As always, if you only have 30 minutes a day to play Red Dead Online, spend it on completing a daily challenge. So far, you may have been making your way through the collector ranks the way the game originally intended. In other words, buying the maps from Madam Nazar and following those to get your hands on those precious collectibles. As I mentioned earlier, that is a perfectly fine way to make it through the role. But there is a second method, and that is by just going to the specific location on the map without any of Nazar's maps and just collecting the collectible. Indeed, you can simply follow a map that points out the precise locations of each and every single collectible and just collect them that way instead. However, the locations for each collectible aren't quite as set as they are in the single player portion of Red Dead Redemption 2. Let me explain. While full sets of collectibles can be found in set locations, these locations will cycle out and change each day. The day will switch over to the next at exactly 8 PM Eastern Time, which means the locations of all the collectibles will change with it. If you aren't in the Eastern Time Zone, you'll have to do a bit of math to figure out what your specific schedule is, but that's just a simple Google search. There are 6 different collectible cycles for each collectible, and as you can see, each collectible type is assigned a different cycle depending on the day. If this sounds confusing to you, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Basically, the masterful John Ropke Red Dead Online Collectors Map is going to do all the work for you when it comes to tracking collectible locations and collectible cycles. And it will automatically update at 8 PM when the cycles all change. But to avoid confusion, I'd recommend getting your collecting for the day done either before the cycle changes or after the cycle changes. You don't want to be following a set path and collecting collectibles only for things to suddenly change halfway through your adventure. That's just a headache. I'll say it again, the Red Dead Online Collector's Map is a god-tier companion for any serious collector. With this powerful tool, you could quickly and easily find any collectible you're looking for. More specifically, you could quickly and easily find full sets of collectibles without much issue. The map even provides a timer showing how long until the cycle changes to the next day, with the locations of each collectible changing with it. You could turn off the icons for collectibles you're not interested in finding, you can mark off the collectibles you find one by one, and you could even generate a route based on the collectibles you have on screen. I'm just scratching the surface here too. There's a staggering amount of options at your disposal to make collecting as simple and clean as possible. I highly recommend playing around with the settings until you find what works for you. This thing really does have it all. So now that we understand how collectible cycles work and we know the locations of every single collectible thanks to this awesome map, you pretty much know everything you need to know to find success with this role. You can follow the map, collect full sets of collectibles, and sell them to Madam Nazar, and reaching max collector rank shouldn't be much trouble at all. And of course, we might as well focus on collecting the most valuable sets of collectibles that provide the largest payout, right? Well, not so fast. Over time, Rockstar has drastically changed the way collectibles work. As a result, what was once a logical progression through the role, unlocking the ability to collect more and more valuable collectibles as you ranked up, is now not really the case. As of the release of the Naturalist role, there are no longer static collectible routes that can be easily followed to get complete sets of the most valuable collectibles. Instead, when you collect a necklace, coin, ring, bracelet, earring, arrowhead, family heirloom, or fossil, the specific named item you pick up is now random. While you could still follow the John Ropke map to find the locations of each coin, for instance, which coin you pick up is random. Indeed, these randomized collectibles actually now have a specific rarity percentage assigned to it. So looking at coins again, that means 5 of them have a 12% chance of being picked up, another 5 have a 6% chance of being picked up, and these 5 at the bottom, a mere 2% chance of picking one up when you come across a coin on the map. You can see all of these loot tables for the other collectibles over at the John Ropke map, but the bottom line is this. It is now really hard to come across some of these collectibles, no matter what. If you travel across the map and collect the 15 coins that spawn each day, odds are very good that you'll pick up some doubles. In fact, there's an incredibly small chance you'll find a complete set even over the course of 2 days or more. As a collector, you are at the mercy of the RNG gods when it comes to finding a clean and complete set of valuable collectibles, and that absolutely sucks. Just to test how the RNG may treat you, I went out to collect every coin following the collector map. Here's how that run turned out. And surprise, surprise, it wasn't pretty. After collecting all 15 coins available in a single day, I ended up with 9 commons, 4 uncommons, and only 2 rares. 6 of the coins were duplicates that I had already collected, so by the end, I didn't even have a full set of every common coin, much less the uncommons or rares. I wasn't even close to having a full set of coins, and I doubt repeating the process the next day would have got me to a full set either. There's just way too high a likelihood of running into dupes, and finding that full set would just be tedious. I ended up selling those coins individually for about $250, which isn't awful, but is obviously a far cry from the value of a full set of coins, which is $540. All in all, collecting collectibles is still the fastest and easiest way to make money quickly in Red Dead Online. But these nerfs have rendered these more valuable collectibles basically useless in our pursuit of reaching max rank, and indeed, making a bunch of cash. So what is the solution here? What is the best full set of collectibles to go out and collect, then sell to maximize profits and get closer to max rank? Thankfully, there still exists a great optimal collector route to make a ton of cash very quickly, and it involves going out and collecting 3 complete sets of cards. The least valuable collectibles, the 4 sets of tarot cards, bird eggs, antique alcohol bottles, and American wildflowers, did not have their spawns randomized like the more valuable collectibles. That means we can still easily follow the John Ropke map to collect full sets of them. The map allows you to bring up the locations of any collectibles you'd like, so you can just bring up the 3 sets of cards like this, and then mark off the ones you've collected as you go. It's a super clean and easy way to keep track of all the collectibles you've collected and which ones are still out there to be found. Eventually, you'll get the hang of bouncing between the John Ropke map, marking the location of the next collectible on your in-game map, going into cinematic mode as you ride to the next collectible, and watching episodes of The Simpsons while you wait. I can tell you from first-hand experience, this is pretty terrific. After getting used to this little routine, I'm now able to find these 3 sets of cards in about 90 minutes, give or take. That number is going to vary depending on a number of factors, like which cycles are active the day you decide to go collecting, the speed of your horse, and how many wolves attack you on your journey. Also, 3 sets of cards forming this optimal collector route, which is 42 collectibles in total, is really a personal taste thing. We could have gone for 4 sets of cards and hit a cool $1,053 from selling 4 complete sets, and if you have 3 or 4 hours to kill, don't let me stop you. Milk that John Ropke map to your heart's content and collect as much as you want to. But at 4 sets of cards and 56 total collectibles, I do personally think that officially tips the scale into this takes too long for one sitting territory. So my personal routine has been 3 sets, 42 collectibles, and about 90 minutes spent exploring for a solid $814 payout. And I'm more than happy with that anytime I feel I need some quick cash. Honestly, that's not bad at all given the game's current economy. And when it comes to bang for your buck, time spent playing versus money made, selling full sets of collectibles still beats any other money-making method in the entire game. Another low-key advantage to this new route, hilariously, is that the shovel and metal detector kinda aren't worth buying anymore, which brings us to our final tip of the day. Thanks to all these weird balancing adjustments over the years, you just don't need the shovel or metal detector anymore. What were once essential purchases to max out your payouts are now rendered almost completely useless. Good going, Rockstar. The items are now a waste of money unless you intend to be a completionist and want to collect every last collectible in the game. But really, that goes beyond the scope of this video. When it comes to reaching max rank quickly, simply put, these items aren't necessary and you don't need to bother with any of these collectibles. Huge cash and XP payouts can be achieved by simply focusing on collecting those cards. No expensive shovel or metal detector needed, no randomness, and you'll reach max rank for collector by selling those sets of cards in no time at all. Eventually, you will reach a point where you have so much cash from selling collectibles that the cost of the shovel and metal detector does become trivial. At that point, I'd say you might as well buy them, if for nothing else, access to more easy daily challenges. But when just getting started and you're low on cash, they could safely be ignored and you'll still be able to quickly reach max collector rank by focusing entirely on selling full sets of the non-random collectibles. And that's gonna wrap it up for my revised 2022 edition of the Collector Roll Simple Guide video. Ultimately, this role comes down to becoming a master of the John Robke map and following the optimal collector route. From there, reaching the maximum rank should come super fast, and you'll be looking at Scrooge McDuck levels of money to swim in going forward. Despite some nerfs over the years and RNG hurting the role overall, Collector is still the very best role in the game when it comes to cash and XP payouts. If you follow this video, you'll be collecting tons and tons of cash and XP, and that will make your life in Red Dead Online overall a whole lot easier. If you like this video and want to see more Red Dead Online guides and content, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I have guide videos just like this one for the other 4 roles in the game, so definitely check those out if you haven't already. You can find links to them in the video description. Also look forward to an updated 2022 version of my Trader Guide coming very soon as well, rounding out my series of updated simple guides for the 3 OG roles. But that's all for today, so until next time, thanks so much for watching everyone, and take care.